Much like my pup, this thing is triple XL. Good afternoon, welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety, or Wooks triple XL. And after that spirited introduction, we have the Boreas P1 720, because it does kickflips. This thing, it really does. This is like ridiculously large, and it solves a lot of problems for actually not a lot of money. I saw this on Evetech on the clearance side for $1,000, and I was like, bruh, that's seemingly like a lot of cooler for $1,000. And TLDR, it really is. It's also got one of the most interesting and completely unique fan setups I've ever seen, where it's got a 120mm up front and then space for a 135 in the middle. Yeah, 7 copper heat pipes, 2 huge fin stacks, and a quoted TDP range of 270 watts is quite a lot for $1,000, especially when you're going to keep the, the block, and it's never really going to age or get old. And even now, with the update on the Intel platforms to the new LGA die size, the cooler bracket allocation on LGA 1700 has remained the same. So you should get some legs from this, because we're testing with a 13600K as an example. M4, M5, same story. So yeah, it should butter many parsnips for quite a long time. Anyway, let's look at what's in the box. So inside this quite large box and this quite large package. Well, actually, looking at the box first, let's actually just stay there for a second, because if you look around the back, they did something a little bit clever over here to make space for the RAM. So RAM can sit in the recesses on either side. So you could put this like back to front, but you wouldn't really need to, because you can always just do what I've done and put the 120mm fan like on top of the RAM, because there's actual cutouts on the spin stacks so that you can fit it in amongst RAM and then amongst VRMs on the sides of your motherboard. So quite a clever, unique design with a really nice package as well. Inside of the box, you're going to get all the finishings and fittings and stuff that you need, and one of the nicest long boy screwdrivers I've ever seen. That's for fastening down the cooler, because you got to reach in between the fin stacks over there. So they actually provide you with a long boy screwdriver, and like I say, really nice quality on that. It's basically the same quality as what I'd find in your local builder's warehouse. The fans themselves are very simple and basically finished. The 120mm has a daisy chain for the 4-pin PWM header, so you can put the 135 into that, and I've done that for the testing. The block itself is a beefy child. If we look around the bottom, you can see all of those fin stacks over there. There is a tiny little heatsink on top of the fin stack quadrant just to help wick heat away, which has shown that it actually does work. It adds to the overall performance of it, so I'm very glad that they have included that. When you peel off the protective piece that's on there, a little piece of plastic, you might want to just give it a polish, because then it'll shine like what you're seeing on your screen now, and then obviously you don't have any of the glue and stuff on there. Just be careful with that during installation. Speaking of installation, it wasn't the easiest one I've ever done, but also not the end of the world. The back plate does have a little bit of 3M sticky double-sided tape on it, so you can then stick it to the back of your motherboard, and then in doing so, it would make getting those screws in just a little bit easier. The position that you see it in on your screen is actually incorrect. I had to rotate them around to get it to then fit correctly. An added plus though with that contact area is it is formed for the longer boy LGA 1700 type of CPUs. So it's going to get really good contact across that heat spreader. Now that brings us to testing. So to test this sucker, we've, like I said, got a 13600K on our MSI Z690 torpedo motherboard with 5200 MHz CL38 DDR5 memory. We've got a 2TB Western Digital SM570 drive, and then I've got an 850 watt gold powering at this time our Antic HCG. If we start off with the fan noise, you'll notice that 25% inaudible is basically, it's at 25% now as I'm busy recording this as well, and you're not going to hear anything. At 50%, you start to get a bit of a low hum. At 75%, things start to get a little bit more rowdy, and at 100%, there's actually a little bit of bearing noise as well that comes through with that, but that's now at 2000 RPM on both of these fans. So, and you'll see with the testing, you really don't need to go anywhere near there in order to get maximum performance from this, because what giving performance over here is pretty much the fin stack and the amount of surface area that provides, because surface area plus airflow equals cooling. And 50% was more than enough to absolutely thump the H100. That was also tested on a much cooler day, so it should have had a sort of inherent advantage. But it was just kind of like a bully beat down. This thing performed in line almost with their new 5,000 RPM E4 and M4 series of water coolers as well, considerably cheaper. I know some people still don't want AIOs, but they want to get really good cooling performance. Well, then look no further. For $1,000, this thing absolutely slaps. It's pretty quiet. Fan quality is the only thing I would say you're probably looking at maybe 2 years. You're going to have to replace them. No, they're not uber amazing, but with the clips and stuff that they come with, it's going to be really easy for you to you could probably even put a 140mm fan in the middle over here. But even with two 120s, you can see with the fan speeds and stuff, even at 100%, it didn't improve much. I ran it a little bit longer on that, but it really didn't make too much of a marked difference. So, Gamdias Boreas P1, what do I think? It's flipping mal for $1,000. This is probably the best bang for buck cooler. 270 watt quoted TDP range. It probably will do that actually quite comfortably. It might hit like 99 degrees, and then you might see a bit of an improvement from the fans. But at 4.6 gigahertz on P cores and E cores, it's very much within throwing distance of the old 220 watts that I was pulling. So we could say it's about 200 watts that it was pulling, even with the microcode update. And it was very comfortable. I mean, 70s, 80s under that kind of load. When you're gaming, this is all you're going to hear, and it's going to probably be in the 50s and 60s. So yeah, just a lot of surface area. Pretty good build quality overall for the parts that matter, like the fin stack that's not going anywhere. Overall, I really do like it. Just so you know how hot it is today. While I'm standing here, I'm cooking. It's about 30 degrees Celsius. So when I said it was hot today, and then this thing still performs, you can see I'm cooking. Anywho, that is all I've got for you on the Gamdias Boreas P1. If you have enjoyed this, please do hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.